So this is Meet the Cosplayer, and we have the pleasure to have Tris here. And Tris, let's start it off. Tell us about yourself.
As a maker, I like to re-envision some of my favorite characters, give them their own background, give them a little bit of inspiration from the things that I'm going through in my own life, and just kind of like reshape them for a new universe or just a new lens of the way we envision that character. I like to put in some personal and universal themes to it as well, just to make them a little bit more relatable as well.
So out of all these intricate builds that you have, let's go over the ones that pretty much are known, or at least I see a lot in social media.
Yeah, the Swamp Thing, uh, the Green, my interpretation of Swamp Thing. You gonna see a lot of Hellbat. The Hellbat character that debuted last Halloween is gonna be one of the ones. And I would say the Amazon, which is my version of Wonder Woman, and probably the latest one, Atrocitus, the Red Lantern. He was just at C2E2 as well, so he got some good FaceTime with the people. So those probably the four you're gonna see the most. But Man Bat and King Trench, they got their own little cult following too, so they get some love too.
What is your hardest build to date?
I'm gonna be honest, the hardest build, uh, I don't know. They keep kicking my each one keeps like leveling up. I want to say Atrocitus because he was the biggest, right? But the hardest was the Man Bat, probably because of the wings. The PVC pipes mixed with all of the other things that I was using. At the time, I didn't have the big, studio slash garage I have now. So it was really hard for me to like make these big 6 foot wings in my lap and just like be in the hallway trying to Mod Podge and get those solidified. But that was probably one of the harder things to do because I was moving away from human anatomy in a different way that I've done before, other than like Swamp Thing or King Trench. They're still very hominoid at the same time, whereas we had to introduce digitigrade legs. I've never done that before. Usually you do that on stilts, but I was able to get that accomplished just within platforms and just a little bit of an illusion. So that was probably my hardest one yet. The second hardest, I must say, was doing the detailing for Atrocitus. If you look at Lord Atrocitus, you'll see how he has this volcanic armor. And that was pretty much me spending like half my summer just like detailing with a soldering iron and a wood burner just to kind of give it that texture and look. And yeah, it was more tedious than it was hard.
Was there a lot of redos when it came to the wings? Because I'm sure it gets pretty heavy. Did you once build in? It's like, you know what, this is too heavy. I'm gonna have to reconstruct it.
Yeah. And that's where it gets a little hard because that's really like the film wings. Eventually, I'm gonna make a another pair of wings just a little bit more con friendly. But R&D for the wings took me about a month or so. At first, I was playing around with the idea of linear actuators to make them, go up and down via cables. But once I got it to actually work right, it was just too slow. And considering the fact that he's a creature, I want him to be able to move when I move and things of that nature. So I reconstructed the wing totally and went with more of the Batman animated series feel, how they were big and just sprawled out instead of cuffed back a little bit. And it took me about 2 or 3 tries to actually get it right. And one of the things that I used was PVC pipes. All every iteration of the wings always was constructed out of PVC pipes, but this one was constructed out of the final was constructed out of PVC pipes and stilts. So like the little walking stilts that you uh, have around your forearm and you walk like this. Um, Pretty much those is pretty much how I got it done. And it's still heavy. It was not once I sculpted it with the clay and laid on all of the layers and paint. It's like doing a shoulder raise from hell, trying to get them up. But it just works so well, especially for the shot. So Those were specifically for the filming that we did. But in the future, and for the next cons, we are gonna make them more wearable and con friendly.
So the stilts, I guess you had it where you had on the forearm and at the same time on your shoulder, right? Under, so you have more
Yeah, so
control.
it's like right below my elbow right here is where it connected. So I'm literally like just holding on
Oh, so it was all
and
forearms. Oh, it was all forearm strength right there.
all forearm strength and all delt strength. So I had to change up my workout and everything. Less bench press, more shoulder raise.
You draw everything before making the mold, before making the
Yeah, I
parts.
like to see it on paper first. And mainly because I get a lot of my inspiration from concept art, comic books. You know, I'm always into a certain book depending on the character, and action figures. So those three is pretty much what really give me the vision to, make certain changes or how I could re-envision, some of these characters that's been seen. Well, some of them has been seen for years and years, and some of them are still a little bit more nuanced, like the Trench, Man Bat, and Atrocitus. But yeah, I like to get it on paper first. Once it's on paper, it's pretty much done. It's just making it 2D into 4D and bringing it out from the paper into real life, which is the most fun part. Sketching and you know, being super meticulous about how you want everything to look. It could be a little bit mind-boggling at time, but I would say that's probably pretty much the hardest part is the sketch and knowing the full concept. And sometimes you create things. Once it's in foam, it doesn't always look right. So sometimes you go back to the drawing board. But 9 times out of 10, like with Lord Atrocitus, Hellbat, and Wonder Woman, the Amazon, those three are pretty much like one for ones as to how they were sketched. If you look at the concept, almost a one for one. So very proud to say that, especially Atrocitus. Atrocitus was he was exactly like I drew him. And I'm very proud of that. Very proud of that.
And for the trench, you pretty much you took inspiration from three characters, correct?
Yeah, so I took the original Jeff Johns New 52 look of the big reflective eyes, and then I mixed it with the Aquaman movie from 2018. But I also took a little bit of inspiration from Injustice 2. They had a couple of Atlantis scenes where they had King Trench uh, at the bottom of the sea, and he had this very monstrous and distorted look that I really liked. So I just wanted to create my own version of how they would look because the talk was that James Wan was going to will give The Trench a feature film. So I was playing with the thought of like, okay, if I had to give The Trench their own film, how would I redesign them? And that was like the perfect design that I saw in my head. I took a little bit of inspiration from like Pumpkinhead, Aliens, of course, and just came up with something a little bit new and something just to pay homage to the comic books too, because I really like who they are in the comic books as well.
Hellbat. Is it safe to say that you're the first one to have made it, or
I think there was one other person to do it, and I think I think I actually follow him. I think he's like a French cosplayer somewhere overseas, but there was somebody else to do it. And it was always one of those ones where I used to look at and be like, man, if we could bring that, if we could bring that to life, that would be special. And I just got the hunch one day. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go for it. I am going to go for it. All in all, it took me about like 3.5, 4 months maybe to complete. So right, I started in like I want to say mid-July, and I was just at it like week after week after week, sculpting the cow with the foam base and just trying to get everything to layer the right way because it was as you can see it's like a acrylic chest as far as like the chest plate, making sure that the lights are right. And yeah, it was a hard process. It was one of those ones that definitely taught me a lesson. It made me change my order of operation a lot.
how long you been doing cosplay already? Or at least cosplay building?
It'll be 4 years in March. I started in March of 2018, maybe like February 2018. Yeah, it'll be 4 years in February, March, late February, early March.
What was your first cosplay that you wore? And I want to say maybe even created.
So the first one I officially created was Killmonger in 2018. It was based off the Michael B. Jordan character from Black Panther, of course, and it was like his battle armor, um, which like the first couple times you introduced to him, you see him in that, and it was really cool. It was really cool. It gave me a chance to finally get my hands dirty because I was wrestling with what I wanted to do, as far as like building things out of foam. It was a couple of different characters in my head, but I was like, you know what, for my first one, it's something a little light, shoulder pads, a vest, different accessories and things of that nature. And I thought I could pull it off. And it went well. It went well. It was pretty good for my first attempt at actual like EVA foam construction and armor. And from there I got bit with the bug, man. I fell in love with it. I fell in love.
So you had no background whatsoever ever building anything with foam before.
Nah, no foam work. It was pretty much me just I can't even tell you how many like YouTube videos I watched. But I remember being in like Home Depot and Joann's, like literally watching the videos and going down the aisles buying the product as I was watching them. So it was a lot of trial and error and just me just looking on different sites and figuring out how to cut things, what glue works best. So a lot of trial and error, a lot of trial and error in that case.
So looking at pretty much the accomplishments of what you've done so far and what you're looking to do in the future, what is the one thing going back that pretty much put you in the path of doing cosplay and going to conventions?
It was the very first C2E2 we went to. I was Kylo Ren, and at that point I got like the Black Series helmet, and I had sourced it online from the garments online from other websites. And once I got it, nothing. At the time, I was a little bit bigger than what I am now because I was still powerlifting and such. But I was like, none of this fits me correctly. We had to pin up and like so much that it was kind of like, I might as well went to Joann's and bought my own fabric and just made my own. And everybody loved the fit and all of the things that really made it stand out on me. And then I met this young lady that did a really good Demogorgon, and she told me how she made it. The Demogorgon from Stranger Things, the flower head and things of that nature. Right up my alley because I'm a monster fanatic. And once I saw that, I just couldn't get it out my head because she did such a cool job with it, and she made it fit her. And you can see where, like, she changed certain things to make it a little bit more comfortable and things of that nature. And I was like, yo, I really got to go all in. And as I was wrestling with the ideas, that's how I came, Killmonger, take it slow. And now I'm here. So it's like just seeing that one person do that creature suit just like put me on that path. Like, yeah, I gotta bring back monsters in a different way. I'm gonna do some armor first, but gotta bring back the monster.
And that's your tagline, right?
Embrace your inner monster. Yep, right here. Embrace your inner monster.
If you could look in the future, will you ever think that you'll be creating such amazing work and recognizable and actually judging at C2E2, the first convention that you went to?
Honestly, I would have never thought. I would have never thought because I really picked up the hobby as just like a therapeutic release, something to do outside of playing video games or going to the gym. I like to work with my hands, and I've always been creative. Like I've been able to sketch, always played with action figures, read comic books. So it was always in me. But once I picked it up as a hobby, it really kind of just like opened my eyes to, a different realm of possibilities of what you really could do with some of these household materials and just arts and craft things. And that just yeah, it changed me and made me a really made me a better person, made me more patient. I'm able to I'm happier. That's one of the things my wife would say. He's much happier in creating monsters, and it made me a better project manager and how to like build things and like really push forward as far as like the specific goals and tasks.
What future cosplay do you have in mind that you can talk about, that can even maybe tease
So I
about?
dropped the teaser for the final boss of this DC line, which is the Scarecrow, and his name is Crane. So I'll be dropping some very good information on him within about a month or so. But he'll get him the first, I want to say Q1 of 2022 for sure. He'll definitely be seeing him, and we're gonna take things a step further than what we did in 2021. We're gonna my thing is always showing the creature or the armor in this case in the light in which I envisioned it. So I'm going to be doing a little bit more as far as putting them in their setting, like I did with Atrocitus, but taking what I did with Atrocitus, how I had the little short and showing him in like a hill like setting. Let's go ahead and turn up the fire. The theme for Scarecrow is fear, and one of the things that I'm really challenging myself with is taking the level of horror up each time with my villains. Like we started out with Man Bat. He was uh he was based and designed off the uh the likings off of the underworld. If you look at the underworld movies, you'll see like in the neck and the trap areas, I based it a lot of the build and the silhouette off that, as well as comic books and a little bit of myself too. If you look at his face, and then Atrocitus, I really wanted to make people, he almost got like he looks like he comes from the Spawn world, where everything is like super demonic, exaggerated knuckles and hands and teeth, but now I want to tackle something new. And one of the things that I had to ask myself while creating the concept for him is like, if we're gonna do something about fear, we gotta ask ourselves what's some of the things that we fear or used to fear, and what's some universal fears that we all could relate to, and how do we tell that story visually? Because it's one thing if he's a character in the movie, but these I pretty much describe my work as living concept art. you know so how do you tell that story in a monster suit basically, or a monster character? I like to using these characters because monsters take some of the humanity. That word takes some of the humanity, but I think it adds power. So how do you tell that story, and what techniques am I going to use to really do that? And one of the things that took a lot of inspiration from the movie Pumpkinhead as well as Candyman. Pumpkinhead, because obviously Scarecrow, got a pumpkin patch, things like that. And Candyman was, that kind of got that boogeyman vibe. You want to make him like an urban legend. So this version of Scarecrow is going to be for those comic book lovers, but also the people that if you like slashers, old 80 monsters movies, it's gonna be for you too. It's gonna be for you too. And it's gonna uh come to a head with Scarecrow. We might have a couple other little sneak peeks throughout the year as far as bonus characters, DLC pack. But but yeah, that's one of the things that I'm really challenging myself with.
And for the Scarecrow build, is there any new, I guess, approaches and techniques that you have applied to cosplay?
Yeah, yeah. I'm working even I did a lot of work with fabric when it came to the Amazon, which was my take on Wonder Woman. But this time I'm going there. I'm working with a lot of burlap, different type of leathers. You're gonna see some stuff. You're gonna see some stuff. It's gonna look. He's gonna be just like with all my characters. He's gonna be very lived in. You could tell that he's been around for some time, and I want to make his motivations and the things that make him be visible and seen, and just challenging myself to mix that with EVA foam, with foam clay, all of the different paints. That's gonna be the key, the key to really, making him speak. And remember, this is the final boss too, so he gotta look dope. You know, there's Man Bat, and then there's Atrocity. There's the three villains of this universe. So, with him being at the head, he gotta have some swag.
What other plans you got going on? Like any judging, anything else within the community that you got in the future?
So I got a couple things in mind that I can't really talk about yet, but it has to do with my journey, and a little about how I approach things as a creator, and just kind of like my mantra of embrace your inner monster. What it means. It's not just a saying. It means a lot to me, and it means a lot to other people as well, which is why I wanted to create uh, a little bit of merchandise to help people with that. But I got some things coming up. Nothing con related just yet. But I do have another universe that'll be dropping around, I want to say this summer, and that's going to be the Aliens universe. And if you've been on Instagram or any of my socials, you'll see I've been hinting towards I've been hinting towards it for a minute. As Aliens is one of my before I was a Batman fan, before I loved Swamp Thing, before all of that, it was always Aliens and Jurassic Park. So those my favorites. So I'm definitely going to be going all in on Aliens as the new universe, and it's gonna be a wild ride. You're gonna see some things. Yeah, well, if you've read the comic books, played some of the video games, a lot of these iterations are gonna be very familiar, but it's gonna be something that you haven't seen on screen before. Just taking a step further, and I got to do it the Tris Rex way, which means I got to put my own spin on
Right,
it. If I'm
right.
not gonna put my own spin on it and create it in my vision, then it's like, yeah, go buy the DVD. Then you could watch it. But I'm gonna give something special to the Aliens fans and communities and diehard lovers, and I'm gonna make sure that we get some a really cool alternate aliens universe that you'll be able to know and love. That's my promise. You heard it here first from Tris Rex, the man himself.
I'm always cool to see the lores and the Easter eggs that I'm sure you're gonna have in your cosplays. Maybe characters that were talked about in the Alien universe but never really made it, or I know some made it into video games that were talked about in the previous
Yeah,
movies.
and the funny part is there's been alien Easter eggs in a lot of my creations,
Really?
but you don't see it unless you got the trained eye for it. But okay. If you go back and look at the Hellbat armor, look at the shoulders. Look at the shoulders, or look at the way the proportions of the arms of King Trench, the Aquaman character. Look at the back of his head and look at the proportions of his shoulders and his back traps. I've been hinting towards it for years. I just haven't said anything, but I think this is one of the projects that I was like put here to do. Like I was made to do this. Like everything leads up to this, this big universe that I'm about to build.
And when
So
is that happening? Q2 2022, Q3?
Q3, Q3. So next C2E2, next C2E2 for sure. This coming C2E2 in August, and we'll be here. Something special for Chicago. All the love I got this year. So this is for those hardcore fans. This is for those hardcore Alien fans, and that Aliens and Predator fan base. I just just like with the DC, Marvel, and everybody, they take it really serious. They take it really serious, and it's very niche because monsters, you know, yeah, they look at them as a thing of the past nowadays, and I really want to be able to bring that back, and especially when it comes to all of the practical effects, uh, you know, all of the practical effect techniques that I've been studying and just trying to innovate. I really want to bring that back for those old school monster lovers, which is why I was happy that I could, show off what I've been doing for the past year and a half at T2E2 for people that love big, scary creatures. This is kind of like my homage and my thank you to them, for all the love and support. And, that's one of the things I want to continue to do, just with a different universe, you know. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. There's some other things that I got growing up after uh the aliens kick off that's pretty cool too. Pretty cool too.
Any hints?
Just as cool. Um there's yeah, it's gonna be a female character. I want to do more female characters, and I like seeing my work on other artists, whether it be other cosplayers or models or actors. I really like to be able to direct from time to time. But okay, we already talked about it. There was some unused concept art from the now scrapped Neil Blomkamp Alien 5, the Sigourney Weaver with the xenomorph armor. I got some ideas around that. That got some ideas around that's pretty cool, and it's gonna take it to the next level. And you also might see one of your other favorites from the DC line as well. Somebody might make a comeback. Not sure who. It's a lot of them, so
A
not
comeback
sure
from
who.
your previous cosplays?
You know, you know better, you do better. Certain things might get upgraded,
Let's
certain
see.
things grow. Wink, wink. I don't know. I don't know who this could be. Somebody might, hey, like, hey, remember me? Yeah, but 2022 definitely gonna be big. Definitely gonna be big.
What is the one dream cosplay you could be like, you know what? If I had the team, if I had the resources, I would love to
You know
do
what?
this.
I can't tell you that I've been making dreams come true since I've touched the phone. I've always dreamed about making my own bat suits and like building big creatures and things of that nature. So it's not just like one character. I mean, like this character that I'm gonna introduce at C2E2 to kick off the Aliens universe is that's like bucket list before I die type of shit right there. Excuse my French, but it's like that's like that's yeah, that's gonna be me fulfilling part of a dream.
You seem very passionate and in a way blessed that you're in this path of creating,
Oh yeah.
expressing yourself, and with that being said, like, what would you like to say to a cosplayer or even a builder who's thinking about, man, should I even do something, even if it's not gonna be good, if it's not gonna be up to par with what I see at a convention? What would you like to say to that young guy, girl who's thinking about that right now?
What I would say is create with a level of vigilance. You got to be passionate and vigilant about what you're creating. And you got to be selfish to a certain point that you got to make sure that you love it first. You love it, cool. Everything else comes after that. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure that it's really the creation that you want to make. And most importantly, go in with a plan, plan the work the plan. If you could write things down, if you got some images or some concept art saved, take a look at that. Put some pen to paper, you know, kind of plan out what you're going to do first. And most importantly, fail fast. Fail faster and faster and faster. Figure out what works and doesn't work so you could, get that product and that creation out. Because the quicker you fail, the more you'll learn. that's kind of one of the things that, excuse me for sounding super corporate about it, but there's a lot of, as an analyst, project manager, I take a lot of the things that I do at my day job, shifted on over to Tris Rex. So that's the biggest things that I would say. Be vigilant, be passionate, plan your work, and fail fast, and learn from those mistakes and just keep going. But you gotta love it first. If you don't love it, it don't matter.
Where can everybody follow you and check out your work?
You can follow me at Tris Rex on Instagram, at Tris Rex Creature / Armor Effects on Facebook, and pretty much at Tris Rex on all other social and media platforms, whether it's YouTube, Twitter. I'm also on Vero too. So at Tris Rex.
Well, that concludes our first of the year. This is the first one right here. So if it's a little slow on my part, please bear with. Thank you for
It's all
bearing with
good.
me. I usually be behind the camera, directing and pretty much editing and shooting. So being in front of the camera is a whole little different experience for me. But it's a good. It's good. It's a good exercise.
All good, man. All good. I just got off work. My brain had to turn off a little bit. It's all good. We in this together.
Amazing. Peace.
It was